Nike Center Court in downtown Spokane. This is KXLY4's Hoopfest Championship Special.
The city we know and love as Spokane has been transformed once again into the basketball capital of the world, at least for the weekend. KXLY proud to be your official Hoopfest station, bringing you coverage you can only see right here. Thanks for joining us for yet another beautiful Hoopfest Championship Sunday night. I'm Nadine Woodward.
And I'm Aaron Luna, and we are live from our exclusive home base, if you want to call it, right above center court, the Nike Center Court, and that's where we're going to be broadcasting all this night's action. And it's the second time we've been here, obviously, with the construction going on in the park.
Right.
And I got to say, my first time here, and I'm loving it already.
We're glad to have you here, Aaron, for sure. You know, the mild weather really did make for a perfect Hoop Fest weekend. Over the last 30 hours or so, about 6,000 teams have played 14,000 3-on-3 basketball games right here in our beautiful city.
Yeah, memories have been made, nails have been trimmed as people have been biting them, and champions have been born, of course. And tonight, by the end of this special 2-hour newscast, 2 more championship teams will claim their titles.
We will be broadcasting those games right here on KXLY. That starts at 5:30. Before that, though, we've got some exclusive coverage of the best Hoop Fest stories of the weekend, ones you can only see on KXLY4. Now, here's a view that we don't always get to see. This is pretty cool. The streets of Spokane, that's before the madness. That's right. KXLY, our drone, Air 4 drone, checking out the setup yesterday. Hard to imagine, but 250,000 people packed into downtown Spokane right before that video was taken.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, you know, of course, it's going to be one of those awesome days again. You know, our weather hasn't been terrible. A little bit of wind here and there.
Yeah.
So why don't we check in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker, who is down on the court this year, seeing that action firsthand. And Chris, it doesn't seem like this weather is going to be too much of a burden for the players out there.
No, in fact, it is, well, I'm in the shade. And it is extremely comfortable there. We're starting to see the shade creep over the court now. John, let's show the court. There is a pretty good patch of sun there, but the shade is starting to encroach. And boy, as it does, the temperature really gets pleasant. Around the region right now, temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. We topped out at 75 in Spokane today. Very nice. It is quite windy. We've had wind gusts to 30 miles per hour, but down here in downtown Spokane, it's not as bad. In fact, it's been just kind of a nice, refreshing breeze from time to time. I don't think it's impacted play much. Satellite and radar skies are clearing. We're going to have mostly clear skies overnight tonight. Tomorrow, cooler, 50 degrees to start the day, a high of only 65 with a chance of some showers coming in late in the day. I'll be back with your 4th of July weekend forecast in just a few minutes. Aaron and Nadine.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you, Chris. She's not used to tossing back to both of us.
I know. Well, you know, the weather was great for the players, obviously, because it was
awesome,
super mild, very, very cool. A little bit of rain, but certainly good weather for our sports crew, too, because they were out in force all through downtown, looking at the plane, and watching the players and finding stories.
There's a lot of hoofing it around, and I know Keith runs hot nonstop.
Yeah, he does.
Not sure about Alyssa Charleston. She runs on popcorn, but they're
It is
Nike.
absolutely packed down here on center court. Everybody watching this game right now, we've been around all day long and yesterday, roaming the streets, finding stories, and we actually found someone that we see quite a bit of. Coach Aaron Best.
We usually hear him. You know, Coach Aaron Best of the Eastern Eagle football team, one of the louder people, one of the louder, most boisterous personalities you're ever going to see. Well, he has to take that coaching hat off when it comes to Hoop Fest. He was once a player here, and now he plays the role of dad, which he says a little bit quieter than his normal life.
I've done it once, participated once. I'm a big fella, so I don't really like crowds because I take up a lot more space than most.
You try to stay quiet, or you just not even fight it?
I told myself early on, way early on, I wasn't going to be that parent, so I'm fairly quiet. I leave those for Saturdays in the fall. I'm loud in the house, so when no one sees me, I'm loud, but out here I just like to have fun, let those kids play.
It was a lot of fun watching his son Tank, one of my favorite names. Remember, Tank knocked in a putt on our KXLY4 challenge last summer. Coach Best staying out of the way, trying to stay incognito, but Eastern fans are finding him all over the weekend. A lot of fun down here. A lot of former Eagle football players playing in Hoopfest this weekend.
Yeah, we saw some yesterday, the wide receivers, the All-Americans. I'm sure they did pretty well. But a lot of excitement. we almost had a flip back here, but we'll have a lot more coming up with our Hoop Fest coverage. We'll go back to you, Nadine and Aaron.
All right, thank you guys. And for the safety of everyone who competes in this tournament every year, Hoopfest has a very, very strict rule, and that is no dunking allowed, just to make sure that nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, unless, of course, you're on center court and for a very special purpose. And it is cool to see those guys get up there. They do a couple of tricks. They slam that ball home through the net. That's pretty awesome. And, of course, everyone wants to see that. So Multicare puts on the slam dunk competition, which I think is probably a crowd favorite as well. And those who felt they had the ups and the skill to participate paid $10 to show us what they had at center court. The qualifying rounds were yesterday, and the finals just finished up. Before this broadcast, there were some pretty impressive dunks out there, Nadine. But this one, I think, topped it all. And that is Isaiah Edwards. He's going home tonight as the best dunker at Hoopfest 2018. The rest of us are just dreaming that we could eventually jump that high one day. I don't know. I know. My times with jumping are over.
Maybe if you had a trampoline, that would help. Just give you a little start there.
Of course, you know, this year's Hoopfest weather has been pretty mild compared to Hoopfest in the past. You know, it hasn't been 95 degrees, and it hasn't really been stormy either. So we took a trip down to Riverfront Park to see how it affects all those food vendors out there. One vendor tells us Hoopfest, you know, always gives local businesses a boost, and this year is no different. Carrie Connor is the local Ben & Jerry's owner. I know I got a few favorites there. And says it's been a great weekend for sales, despite a few clouds and a few rain showers as well.
The weather's been perfect. Actually, I think it's been great because it's great ice cream eating weather, and people love ice cream at 75 degrees. And so we've been having a great time.
Connor also says she's noticed people are a little less cranky in cooler weather.
That's very true. You know, Hoopfest is filled with all kinds of players from all different levels, but it's tough to top the experience of Team Furch. Now, in the 1980s, Tom Furch coached his sons at Livingston High School to the state championships, 2 of them in Montana, and now he gets to play alongside them.
Yeah, our Jack Ferris caught up with the Montana Legends earlier today as they marched through their bracket.
Yeah, guys, 52-year-old Carl Furch is widely regarded as the best dunker to ever come out of the state of Montana. His 50-year-old brother had a career that sent him to pretty decent schools, Montana State, Pepperdine, and overseas. But they gave all the basketball credit to their 77-year-old father and Hoopfest teammate, Tom.
While they dominate the 50 and over bracket, it's more about not getting hurt than winning the Hoopfest t-shirt for the Furches these days.
I'm about trying to make it to my bed early.
But every game, the competitive juices get flowing, and the Furch family can't help but steal a win. Behind the play of their 77-year-old father, Tom, who's been playing with the kids for decades.
In my 20s, he'd come down to our weekend warrior leagues, and he'd score like 12 at like age 50 or 60.
Tom might be a basketball legend, but he's quick to deflect praise from his 2 Hooper sons.
They're lying.
They're all lying.
While they might be humble, there's no denying basketball runs in the Furch family.
It's just amazing. It's a chance to get together doing something we've always loved as a family, and he taught us everything. He was a late bloomer. He was averaging 30 points a league game in his 30s, and we all got the bug, and we played it since we were little kids.
Hoopfest might be a fun weekend for thousands of players, but for the Furch family, it's a tradition on par with Thanksgiving dinner.
There's so many little things I love, like we were just talking about the t-shirt for the losers bracket as a special thing with the secret Loser King written on the shirt somewhere, and every little thing like that is like a little collector's item, and so really well done, love it.
Pretty cool story there, guys, and it gets even better. Just about 2 hours ago, the Furch men won their bracket, so another addition to an already crowded Furch family trophy case. For now, from just outside center court, Jack Ferris, KXLY4 News.
Thank you, Jack. And with thousands of players competing, there's bound to be a few injuries out there as well.
Oops. Almost here. Watch out.
I almost got an injury myself. A bee landed on my nose or something.
It was a fly, so you're safe.
All right.
But, you know, there were a lot of people who weren't so safe because we check in with KXLY4's Kyle Simchuk. He was at the Multicare first aid stations where doctors taped and wrapped all kinds of injuries. We understand about 1,000 of them, Kyle?
Well, yeah, quite a bit of them. All weekend, Nadine and Aaron, doctors have been treating hundreds of sports-related injuries. Multicare has 4 of these medical tents spread throughout downtown, and all of that first aid medical care, including x-rays, are provided to players for free. With thousands of players pushing their bodies to the max, what could possibly go wrong? Well, it turns out a lot of things.
Standard basketball injury, so a lot of bumps and bruises. We had a few concussions that we've dealt with.
This running tally of injuries outside Multicare's main medical tent shows just how important first aid is during the Hoopfest weekend. Nicholas Strasser is in charge of making sure players get the care they need.
We have docs who do orthopedics on site who can then decide whether we need to splint it, ace wrap it, and a lot of times patients don't know how severe that injury might be until they're seen by a provider.
Patients like Sean Kenny.
I was going for a shot and I got fouled and landed on my knee and kind of skid forward.
And 40 minutes after that painful skid, Sean is already being treated by a team of specialists and getting his knee x-rayed.
They're very quick and very good and nice and get me in and out very quickly.
Those x-rays are then sent by satellite to a radiologist who diagnosed Sean's injury in a matter of minutes. Fortunately, there's no fracture, just a bruised bone. Other players this weekend haven't been as lucky.
We've had well over 100 x-rays that we've taken so far this weekend. We've had 37 confirmed fractures as of today.
All of this first aid medical care is free to players, and after 30 minutes in the medical tent, Sean is ready for his next game.
Yeah, I think I'll still be able to play a little bit, so it'll be all right. Yeah, I always push through the pain.
And sprains and muscle strains has been the most common injury this Hoopfest weekend. Doctors have treated more than 200 cases of them. Nadine, Aaron, back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Kyle. Still plenty to come on our KXLY4 Championship special tonight. Our Taylor Graham has the emotional story of a father's loss and also love leading him to Hoopfest.
Baseman was joined by his best friends after some of the hardest months of his life to remember someone they'll never forget. Coming up after the break, we'll have their story.
Oh my goodness, it got noisy here. I've got a great seat here at Nike Center Court. I am here with Caleb, Jamal, Nicholas, and Nad. And how'd you like the Hoopfest weather, Jamal?
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Good. How about you?
It was too hot.
I can't believe you thought it was too hot. What'd you think about the Hoopfest weather?
It was good weather.
No complaints. I love just one little complaint. It was a beautiful Hoopfest. Here's a look at our forecast for tonight. Mostly clear skies with an overnight low of 50 degrees. Tomorrow, sunshine in the morning, then some showers coming in the evening. Breezy, a high of only 65. Right now we're in the 70s in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. It is breezy, wind gusts to 25 miles per hour. Our high temperature today was 75. That's pretty nice Hoopfest weather. It's been 105 just 3 years ago. Satellite and radar shows a northwesterly flow. We're bringing a front down from Canada, and that's going to cool things down for the next couple of days. Overnight lows tonight will be in the 40s and 50s. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the 60s and 70s. And here's your 7-day forecast. We have got a chance of showers Monday and Tuesday, just a slight chance. And then we warm up for the 4th of July. Nadine and Aaron, the game is over, and I'm in a sea of people, and I lost my friends, so I guess I better go.
Thanks, Chris. She did get swarmed over there a little bit. And looking behind us now, it's going crazy out there. That is exciting. That's why we're here. You know, thousands and thousands of teams, and each one of them has a story. Each player come to Hoopfest for a different reason. One team we spoke with today say they're playing with one person in mind. One pass, one shot, each point in honor of a life taken too soon.
That's right. KXLY4's Taylor Graham spoke with them. She's got the story of Team Fly High KXLY. And Taylor, for them, it's more about just a game of basketball.
Exactly, that's right, Nadine and Aaron. For Michael Baseman and those closest to him, this Hoopfest is a sort of therapy. After the loss of his 8-week-old daughter, Kylie, Baseman and his friends joined together to dedicate this tournament to her.
Don't let him shoot it! Yeah!
Team Fly High KXLY leaving it all on the court. Fighting for each point. Fighting for their teammate, Michael Baseman.
It's all for Michael.
He's hit the lowest of the lows. This weekend marked 2 months without his 8-week-old daughter, Kylie.
We wanted to come out and just play for her.
Joining Baseman on the court is his best friend, Isaiah Flick, who is set to become Kylie's godfather. He came back from training with the National Guard in Yakima to support Baseman this weekend.
So I want to come down here and support Michael and pretty much help a good friend after a hard loss.
An unimaginable loss of a life full of promise.
She was very loving. She was everywhere she went. Everybody knew who she was. She touched a lot of people's lives in such a short time.
Every dribble, every decision dedicated to Kylie.
He wanted her to be a baller.
Kylie's mom, Alexis, cheering Baseman on through it all.
Get it, baby,
He says the weekend serves as a therapy of some sorts.
It's sad, it's emotional, but I don't know, it's good to get my aggression and stuff out here.
And in his words, a reminder that tomorrow's never promised. Hoopfest, giving Baseman hope, Kylie's flying high and watching over him.
There you go, boy.
Well, Fly High Kylie got knocked out this weekend, but Michael says he played way better than normal. He thinks that means Kylie's watching over him. Live from center court, Taylor Graham, KXLY 4 News.
Wow. Thank you, Taylor. Such a special story there.
That is pretty awesome.
You know, our sports crew's been out all weekend telling plenty of stories. They've got more to tell, too. So let's go to KXLY 4's Keith Oso live at Nike Center Court. Keith?
You know, you don't see active college basketball players playing in Hoopfest. They're not allowed to. But what you do see are active college football players playing in Hoopfest. We found a couple of Cougars playing this week. Some names that you may already know, but you certainly will know soon come Saturdays. That story coming up next in sports. Welcome back to our official Hoopfest coverage here at Nike Center Court as we're getting ready for the championship games here on our Hoopfest special. Now, we've been following the story for a long time, a few years now, of Roderick Fisher, the young man that was adopted by his high school football coach. Our Alyssa Charleston caught up with him as, you know what, he's not going to miss out on Hoopfest even if he's in college.
Yeah, Keith, like you said, this is a family that you know very well, so you were pretty comfortable talking a little trash to Adam, Coach Adam Fisher, wondering what he's going to have out playing with Roderick and a future Coug that he's about to play with at Washington State. But we found out very quickly that he can certainly hold his own.
Asked him if he wanted to come on up and play and said, hey, we'll have a good time together. We had a blast last year, so we're looking forward to it.
It needs a little family fun, a little time to get away and kind of just enjoy the day, I guess.
Enjoying the day. On a rare occasion, Roderick is actually doing something other than focusing on football.
It's fun to be able to just play around and kind of be yourself and play a little bit of basketball because a lot of times you don't get to do that. And we're so considered around football all the time, so it's just nice to be able to do something else.
And he didn't come alone this time. Fisher convinced fellow incoming freshman Max Borghi to come up. And being from Colorado, he was in for a surprise.
It's crazy. I don't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect coming into it, but I heard this is just like 1/5 of the whole thing. There's so many people here, so many games going on. It's kind of a culture shock.
Playing with your son, always a good time. Trying to keep up with a Division I college athlete, maybe a little less fun.
Well, I think that's a good question. We'll find out. Time will tell.
Man, he's a good shooter, so he better ball with us. But other than that, I'm just excited to play with him. Get a little more time.
Are you afraid that you're going to feel the wrath of Coach Leach when they find out that these guys are playing?
Well, we'll keep that on the down low as best we can.
They don't know we're here, but they're probably going to see this, so I'm sorry, Coach.
Yeah, so they didn't win the championship, but the important thing is, and Coach Leach will be happy about this, both guys finished uninjured. We got to see a whole lot of athleticism from both of them. Yes, they dominate on the basketball court too. Looking forward to seeing how they do on the football field coming this fall. Keith?
Thanks a lot, Alyssa. I'll tell you what, you don't want to be in the receiving end of a screen for Mr. Borghi. That guy is all physicality. Now, we're waiting for the men's championships here at Nike Center Court, but a little bit earlier with the women's championships, and a little bit of a surprise came today as a defending champion was uncrowned right here on Center Court. It was YYC out of Canada using their experience to jump out to a quick lead. Robin Buna would bank into two. Old champs were up 7-2. Kind of a border battle going on here. But the Stars and Stripes, a team represented by USA at the high school level, was not backing down from the veterans. Haley Van Lith was incredible with the ball. She had nice handling all day long, gets her own shot, gets the lead for Stars and Stripes, and they would put it away. Paige Bukers gets the game-winning hoop, so the Women's Open Championship is taken home by a high school team, a very good high school team, and they were happy to be champs.
It's exciting. It's a great feeling because especially since this is our first time coming down here, and it was even more exciting beating the reigning champions. It's a great feeling.
We knew that coming into this would be really hard and would be a challenge for us, so we didn't want to give ourselves any excuses to let ourselves down or let our team down, and we just wanted to play for USA the best we could.
One of the highlights every year at Nike Center Court is the Slam Dunk Championship. We usually show you lots of dunks from a lot of different guys because it's usually a close battle. Just not the case this year. Pretty much a one-man exhibition show at Center Court. The winner today, Isaiah Edwards, won the competition by jumping over a fellow competitor while taking the ball from his hands and slamming it home with two hands. We showed it a little bit earlier to you in the show, but it's worth looking at again. Congrats to Isaiah Edwards, your 2018 Slam Dunk champion. We had a little bit of case of be careful what you wish for last night in the TBT tournament as everyone was hoping to see Gonzaga's alumni team, a few good men, square off with St. Mary's alumni team, Gale Force. Now, we got that matchup, but it was an awful game for the hometown team. A few good men got ran out of the Lewis and Clark Gymnasium. They had two different stretches where they missed 14 straight three-point attempts. So St. Mary's, a very good team. The Gale Force, they win at 95-48. They moved to the Super 16 in Atlanta. They're playing for a chance to win $2 million. We have one more piece of news to pass along for you today out of the NFL. Cam Chancellor, the all-pro safety for the Seattle Seahawks, announced on social media he's looking for his next challenge. It appears as though his career is over in the NFL. And just moments ago, LeBron James, officially a Los Angeles Laker. Aaron and Nadine.
My goodness, so much going on. Thank you for that, Keith. This is the place to be. Nike Center Court.
You can hear him out there.
Behind us. We've got the championship games coming up, two of them. We're talking about the 6 foot and under and the elite men's.
And those guys are warming up, and our crews are out in the stands right now with more exclusive coverage. We're going to hear from ESPN's Dennis Patchen, and Alyssa Charleston's going to come back for your play-by-play, and that's just coming up in 2 minutes.
Welcome back. You know, those two big championship games, the elite ones, are coming up right here only on KXLY 4 News. We're going to be tossing things over very, very soon to our seasoned play-by-play man and, of course, our skilled color commentator.
But first, let's give a little background on who these people are. You probably know a couple of them, or you should know at least Dennis Patchen. He's worked for KXLY Sports for 34 years, both in television and radio. He's covered every single Hoopfest. That's 29. Has called 13 championship games. He's also played in 14 of the tournaments and finished second in his division. Dennis's favorite memory of Hoopfest is the weekend he did his radio show on 700 ESPN on a Friday afternoon, went all the way to Milwaukee to call a Spokane Shot game on Saturday, and then made it right back here Sunday night in time to call the Hoopfest title game. Now that's some dedication.
Nicely done, Dennis. And our newcomer to KXLY Hoopfest coverage this year, of course, Alyssa Charleston. She'll be helping out Dennis. She's been with KXLY for about 10 months now. She has a lot of first-hand basketball experience. She played college ball at the University of Idaho, played a season of pro ball in Luxembourg, where her team won a national championship. Her favorite Hoopfest memory is being friends with someone who once won the car in that Toyota shoot-off. Hope she got a couple rides in it.
At least.
And her favorite thing about Hoopfest is, what, the fights? Oh my gosh, she's such a nice girl. She says she loves when a friendly game turns into a WWE match. We're going to see if that happens tonight. It sometimes does. Let's go straight to Dennis and Alyssa right now with the game preview. How's it going, guys?
Thank you. We're going to turn it into a WWE match right here on the desk here. Alyssa's going to take me 2 out of 3 falls. You know, the other thing she didn't tell you, she's also a 2-time academic All-American, a 2-time first-team All-WAC, and an NCAA tournament twice. So.
But I heard you finished second at Hoopfest once.
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah. All right. We're going to have this game. Are we going to the game? Is that what we're going to do right now? Okay, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll introduce you to Keith Oso, who needs no introduction. At least that's what he told me. And we'll have the championship 6 foot and under game coming up next here. You're watching Hoopfest 2018 on KXLY 4 News.
Live from Nike Center Court in downtown Spokane. This is KXLY 4's Hoopfest Championship Special.
And welcome back We're having a blast here up here on Nike Center Court, and we're also going to bring you the first of 2 elite games. We're talking about the 6-foot and under right now. They've battled it out for the last day and a half, and they're going to show us what they got coming up real quick.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. You know it always is, and you don't want us calling this either. So we're going to toss it over to Dennis and Alyssa, the real pros when it comes to this. Hey, guys.
6-foot and under championship game. It is between Pay Up and Need a Detail. We can tell you that Pay Up will be wearing the turquoise jerseys. Need a Detail will be in the black jerseys. However, they do not have any numbers, so we'll try to identify them. That is Colton McCarger, who takes it to the basket. McCarger played his basketball at Whitworth. They'll also be featuring Need a Detail Aubrey Harvey, who is a guy who played at Spokane Falls Community College. We can identify him by the beard out there. Kevin Cameron and Dominique Black make up the rest of that team, as that is a long 2-pointer there that's off by Pay Up, again in those turquoise jerseys. The Johnson brothers, Brian Johnson, Michael Johnson, also Daryl Murphy and Kwame Bates is out there as well. So here we go, and it's a pretty drive and a finish right there, and that's Brian Johnson for the first basket of the game. Melissa, let's talk a little bit about the difference between 3-on-3 basketball and 5-on-5 basketball, especially in the half court here.
Spacing, and spacing. You don't have the help defense. You have to use much less of the court. You take away the fast break and a nice finish down there, but it's so important to know your teammates well. 5-on-5, you can kind of throw different people. You play pickup 5-on-5, and you just kind of go. 3-on-3, you got to know each other. You got to know your strengths, your weaknesses. Spacing is huge.
All right, so each team with a bucket here, and that is Aubrey Harvey with the basketball. He played at the community colleges of Spokane, as that's a pretty finish inside as McClendon puts it up and in.
Goes all the way across the key.
Yeah, that was a pretty drive that time. Harvey's an interesting story. Did not make his high school basketball team at Rogers, so he goes to the community college of Spokane and makes that team.
Almost like a Michael Jordan story.
A little bit. And there's a 2-pointer that time. And Mike Johnson knocks it down, his first basket of the game, and we're on the seesaw now. Pay Up leading it 3-2. Again, if you're just joining us, anything inside the arc is a single point, as Harvey just took a 2-point shot. And that is follow up and in. McCarger with a second one. So we're off to a quick start here. We've seen some games, Alyssa, here at this court that have drug on. We don't know how much each one of these teams have left in the tank, but they look to have some energy here early on in this game.
It's always fun to see how quickly teams adjust to the rim and the backboard. A lot of them have been playing in center court at least once or twice, but this is a grind. It's not just about skill at this point. It's about how much you've hydrated and
right.
how much you can keep going from this point on.
And do you have any legs left to hit a long 2-pointer? That's the other thing is. And that's a foul. We'll explain the fouls here. As McCarger will go to the free throw line. The first 7 fouls are a single shot. Doesn't matter if it's an offensive charge. Doesn't matter if it's a rebound foul, a shooting foul. You get 1 single shot. And that free throw is rattled off. After 7, everything is a 2-shot foul. So if you're fouled if you foul and make a basket under 7, you don't get any free throws. The basket would count, but the foul counts as well. So it's a little bit different here at Hoopfest. And what they did is they tried to do that a few years ago. Instead of penalizing teams, they wanted to make it so there wasn't a foul fest at the end of the game, and that has really cleaned up the end of the game, Melissa. Nobody wants to see teams winning on a free throw.
No, definitely not. That's definitely not what happened at the TBT over at Lewis and Clark the other day for a few good men. That was an interesting end game format, but 3-on-3 a little different. You mentioned 2-pointers, and the shot that was just taken, the step back jumper, shot selection is so important when you're playing to 20. You only have so many opportunities. 2s are worth more, obviously. 3-pointers are worth more than layups. It's going to be interesting to see how each team determines what's a good shot.
Kevin Cameron with a driving layup. So his first basket of the game is a 4-3 lead here for Need a Detail. Keith Oso is our third man on this broadcast, along with Alyssa Charleston and Dennis Patchen, and we'll check in with him momentarily. It's a tough drive that time by Johnson and is knocked away. There's more contact here than there is at a normal basketball game. Our officials will let this go.
Which makes it fun, especially down low in the paint. Big mismatch.
It's a tough matchup inside, but McClendon can't finish the basket here. Needed detail, up by one, pay up with the basketball. Pay up, beat Desert Horse. And it's a drive and a finish, but not, and he'll go to the free throw. Johnson will go to the free throw line. First free throw of the game here for pay up. They beat Desert Horse with J.R. Camel. It's a perennial team that you've seen on our coverage before the championship game. They knocked them out.
It's an impressive win.
Yeah, as Brian Johnson has his second point of the game. And what more importantly, Desert Horse is the team that beat them 2 years ago, pay up in the championship game. So they exercised one demon. Now they're trying to win their first ever. That's a backdoor cut, nifty there. Screen away from the ball. McClendon, we've seen him before dominate from down low.
He uses the floor well. It's all about that spacing.
Most of these guys in a previous life in 5-on-5 basketball have been perimeter players because they're 6 foot and under. Not in this division. You can be a big man.
Which is so key. If you can hit from the outside, like McClendon tried to just then. If you can be a threat from the outside and the inside at every position, you open the floor up to to so much more. You can drive, you pull the defenders out, and you have all the space in the world to take it to the rim.
Let's hear from Keith Oso, see what he has from down on the court. At least, Keith, it's not a million degrees down there like it was a few years ago.
Yeah, it's the first year I haven't looked like a greased pig down here. It's not that embarrassing standing in front of everybody. My shirt's not sticking to me. But don't get fooled. This is the 6th game of the day for Nita Detail. 2 of their players were taking IVs before this game. They said they're cramping up like crazy. I don't know if you've realized, but they are rotating out about every basket or every other basket. They're cramping all over the place down here, even in the mild temperatures.
Harvey with a shot, and that will put us till 7, our first timeout on the court, as Nita Detail takes the early 3-point lead. We've got a timeout here in the 6 foot and under championship game. We'll return live here to Nike Center Court as our coverage of Hoopfest 2018 continues on KXLY 4 HD News.
Welcome back to Nike Center Court. KXLY is soaking up all the Hoopfest action. I think so are the fans, Nadine. We're bringing you exclusive content. The first championship game is over. That really came down the wire. Pay up winning that one, 20-19 over Nita Detail. 2 free throws at the end there.
Absolute lively crowd. Kids running out on the court after he made those 2 to win the game. That was absolutely amazing. We've got another game coming up. Of course, that's the Elite Men's 6 and over. But right now, KXLY4's Jack Ferris. He got to know a couple of teams out there. Let's just say they're on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to age.
That's right, Nadine. Earlier tonight, we were telling you about how there's all kinds of experience levels here at Hoopfest. You don't have to wander very far to see 2 drastically big differences on 2 adjacent courts. Now, earlier today, just north of the mall and south of City Hall, you could see some youngsters just learning the game, playing alongside men who, how do I say this, might have been a little bit past their prime. Now, while points were a bit tough to come by for the youngsters game, there was no shortage of competitive spirit in either.
I have to say, it is fun watching 10-year-olds because they have just a fun zeal for the game. But watching my husband play, it's fun. It's a little bit less stress, a little easygoing. But sometimes they get a little bit intense because they don't like to lose.
Nobody likes to lose, no matter your age and no matter your experience level, but unfortunately that is a necessary evil here at Hoopfest. And I got to tell you guys, this whole elite thing is pretty cool. It's great basketball, but there's nothing like watching the youngsters play every Hoopfest. For now, from Center Court, Jack Ferris, KXLY4 News.
Oh, they sure are cute out there. I'll tell you, I love those little kids playing. Blue skies, temperatures in the 70s, clear right now. It doesn't get much better than this.
It doesn't get any better than this, and you had some of those clouds coming over the top, but really this whole Nike Center Court was shaded as well. That's got to help those guys running around there.
For sure.
Playing a ton of games this weekend. Let's take a look at our sky cam from our station, KXLY station, just up the street. And we also have Chris Crocker down at Center Court. Chris, second game. It feels good down here.
Oh my goodness, yes. Now the court is completely in shade. Most of the stands are in the shade. It is an incredibly pleasant evening to play some basketball. Temperatures around the region are in the 70s. The winds have died down, although here in downtown the winds weren't much of an issue. It was more of like a really great breeze, just keeping things cool. It's really going to cool down tomorrow. We're only going to be in the 60s with the possibility of showers for the next couple of days. So really this weekend has been one of the best, other than a couple of hours Saturday afternoon where we had some showers. One of the best Hoopfest weekends ever. And again, it's going to be cooler as we start the work week. Nadine and Aaron?
All right, thank you, Chris. We have a winner of the 2018 Toyota Shoot-Off. That winner is crowned. Joel Ailes is driving home a brand new RAV4 tonight. Qualifying rounds were going throughout the weekend, and this afternoon Joel won. He didn't make any, no one made any half-court shots, but he made 2 3-point shots to really take that car home.
No, if I make it and win it, I'll surprise my wife when I get home. Hi, Becky. And so I said, what's $10? Come in here and pick yourself. And we got some space in the bleachers.
$10. He takes home a brand new car.
$10.
Pretty darn nice.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be really enjoying that.
All right, so game 1 of the Elite Men's Division, 6 and under over. We've got the 6 and over Men's Elite Game Championship game coming up. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think the fans are going to be just as into that as they were for the last one.
Betcha. We'll be right back live from Nike Center Court.
To win the game, because that's how big he's been here tonight. Parker Kelly for the win, and it's Leon Hayes with back-to-back titles. Leon Hayes, Parker Kelly with his 9th point of the game, just like last year. And Parker Kelly and Leon Hayes with Mark Axton, Mike Hart, and Robert Lippman are back-to-back champions.
That was a quick finish, too. I mean, not like we were kind of expecting him to take a 3. He can hit from anywhere on the court, but that was very impressive finish there.
Parker Kelly now a 2-time Elite Open Division champion. He's standing by with our Keith Oso. Keith?
Parker, we told the story earlier in the game about you grew up wanting to win Hoopfest. You've done it back-to-back years. What's that feel like?
Yeah, I mean, we have a great team. Mike Hart and Axton and Lippman. We have a really nice group of guys that play well together, and it's a lot of hard work. I mean, today is very tiring. A lot of great teams, but man, I just feel very blessed to have won this twice.
Were you thankful that it wasn't 100 degrees out this year?
Yeah, no, it was just very thankful for that. I mean, the cooler temperatures are sure nice, but whether it's really hot or really cold, man, we're still gonna play.
I don't remember a lot of three-peaters at Hoopfest. I know you're going to enjoy this one, but you're going to try to stretch for the three-peat next year?
I think so. I mean, for right now, we're going to cool down a little bit, but I mean, we have a great team and have a lot of great guys, so we're going to try to do it again next year.
All right, congratulations. Thanks a lot. Dennis?
Keith, you should have asked him if he's going to try and win the next 10, because I think the answer would have been true on that one as well.
I felt like we were getting a little greedy even asking about next year 10 seconds after he just won the title,
All right, Keith Oso, thank you for your work down there. Alyssa, your thoughts sitting here watching this from Nike Center Court for the first time?
This was fun. That first game, nail biter. This one, clearly, I mean, it was a great game from Rotary Club, but Leon Hayes, the better team, the experienced team. And I also love that Parker Kelly, Keith almost tried to give him an excuse for why they might be tired and hot, and he could just, typical player interview.
Yeah.
No, coach, we're going to play through whatever. Hot, cold. That's why he'll probably win next year, maybe a few years after that.
He might win a few more, certainly. Yeah. There you see Matt Santangelo handing out the hardware, the dog tags that they get, the backpacks full of swag, the championship trophies. Quite a performance there for Leon Hayes, back-to-back champions here. Well, that's going to do it for our broadcast from the basketball game. We're not done. We've got plenty more coming up. For Alyssa Charleston and Keith Oso, Dennis Patchen, thanks so much for being with us, as we are done with games, but we're not done with Hoopfest 2018. Nadine, Aaron?
All right, thank you, Dennis and Alyssa and Keith. Of course, another Hoopfest down in the books. What a game, a difference in the two games, a little more street, kind of edgy.
A little scrappier the first game.
In the first game.
Yeah.
This was a lot more technical, it seemed
Absolutely. And, one thing you notice when you watch the game or when you start playing Hoopfest or basketball for the first time is how important those free throws are and how important it is to make them, as we saw in this game.
Yeah. And
that made the game.
And you got to start young. So Hoopfest wanted to see the best young free throwers out there, and the tournament had to offer. This year's free throw contest was sponsored by Rhoda Paint. Competitors paid $5 each to get 2 shots. Only one kid walked away a winner, winning that Xbox, and that was 14-year-old Rylan Foster.
just really important because players foul all the time, and it's just free shots. And if you make it, it's a point. And a game could come down to like a 1-point, 2-point game, and those free throws could like come in clutch. It could cause you to win the game. And I just practiced a lot, and it just paid off in this contest.
Yeah, the runner-up didn't go off empty-handed either. Second prize, Nadine, was a $100 gift card to the Nike Hoopfest store, which is always pretty cool. I'm sure he'll be able to find something in there. We have plenty more stories to come out. Our reporters have been in the field all day long, all weekend long. Kyle Simchuk is going to join us now to have a little bit more on Hoopfest 2018.
Well, yeah, and down here at Center Court, it's kind of the center of the universe during Hoopfest weekend. And for the past 20 years, one woman has been running the show, making sure everything runs smoothly. Her name is Lori Olson, and she calls her job an absolute privilege, and she enjoys being surrounded by all the action. But this will be Lori's final year. She told me her grandson is getting older, and she just wants to watch him play and not worry about everything on Center Court. And I asked Lori what she'll miss most, and she got a little emotional. Take a listen.
Oh, I'll miss the people. I'll miss the relationships. See, you're going to make me cry. I'll miss the relationships that I've, formed over the years, and that's what I'll miss. But I'll still be around. But I'll miss the action at Center Court. It's so much fun to watch the best teams, come to Center Court.
Very true there. I also asked Lori what advice she has for next year's court boss, and she told me it's all about having good volunteers, and that is really the spirit of Hoopfest. This whole thing would not be possible without all those volunteers. Aaron, Nadine.
Absolutely. It takes a village, an army mostly of those volunteers. And for the 6,000 or so teams that compete in the Hoopfest, it really becomes a long-standing tradition for so many of them. The Nard Dogs have been playing, I love the name of that, for the last 9 years. The group of childhood friends, all now in college. They're in different cities, but you know what, Hoopfest, well, it gives them the one thing to come back to where they can catch up each year.
Always just come back and do it, and it's just a good thing because I don't see any of them all year, and then we always come back and get to play and stuff, so it's fun.
Obviously, they're big Office fans, right? Yeah. Okay, these kinds of stories are what Hoopfest is all about. Every team does have a backstory. So, our question to you, what is your backstory? The two little boys in the photo on the left are Jace and Nolan Legenstrom. That's with their grandfather there almost a decade ago. Hard to see it, but their shirts say future Hoopfest player on the right. Jace, Nolan with grandpa, the night before their very first Hoopfest. The boys played on a team called the Super Swatters. After going undefeated yesterday, they won their first game this morning, but they lost their second, but they're going to be back. So very, very exciting for them.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to see those little guys in action. Let's go now down to our courtside reporter, Keith Oso, with the latest. Keith, what you got for us?
I'm here with Executive Director Matt Santangelo. Is this just the greatest moment of the year for you right now?
Right now, it just hit me. No, it is. It's a ton of work. It really is. And it's such a long, the month of June is so long, and it culminates here. But what a great weekend we had.
This was the best center court I've seen since we've been doing this. Just, I think the location, the weather, everything worked out well. What'd you think of these two championship games?
Well, the 6 foot and under is great. I love that brand of basketball. Competitive, physical, fast. And of course, it was a little bit, dramatic as well. So I think that was great. And then Lee and Hayes is just so good that they play such a clean style of basketball. The ball moves, they share it, they shoot it well. I think all those things lends itself to a good finish, and both teams finished without a foul and without a bad timeout that led to a technical. So we're good. We're good.
I'm glad that didn't come into play. We always marvel by the time this show gets over and we head back to work, the courts are pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Your crew is so fast. I mean, what time do you expect things to get wrapped up tonight?
Well, we kind of have a tradition where we meet as a site crew, and I count as site crew because I pick stuff up every once in a while. But no, we'll meet tonight, and it'll be 11 o'clock. I mean, it used to be midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, so they're getting faster and faster every single year.
Yeah, you guys do such a great job down here. Thank you so much for your help, and I know it's too early, but I know you're already thinking about next year.
Oh, we are. You constant recaps as it's happening, because in real time you can't repeat that. So you got to get it while it's there. So we're already thinking about next year. And LeBron goes to LA. He's on the West Coast now.
Right.
He's on the West Coast, so now he's got to come to Hoopfest.
There's no excuses. Thanks, Matt. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Aaron and Nadine, back to you.
Oh, can you imagine LeBron James here at Hoopfest?
I can imagine that,
and
it would
cool.
be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We saw a little rain, we saw some clouds, some wind right now, sunshine too. It really has been a perfect Hoopfest.
It has been amazing. And this is the 29th Hoopfest, and we're wrapped up. That's pretty much end of it. But, hey, you know, there's always the 30th. And, of course, we captured a lot of your moments today with the content you can only catch here on your official Hoopfest station.
That's right. If you missed any of it, do not worry. We have all of our stories posted at our website. You can also find tons of photos from the weekend. You can add yours, too. Just go to our Facebook page at KXLY4 and post it there.
Yeah, and make sure to check out all of our content. You might even know someone that you see, or you might have missed someone. You want to see if you can find them in one of our pictures. Post something nice about Hoopfest and what you enjoyed the most. We always like reading those positive comments out there.
Absolutely. Good sportsmanship out there. So many good stories. And next year, 2019, the 30th anniversary of Hoopfest is going to be big.
That is
going to be huge. The dates, June 29th and the 30th. So mark those on your calendar.